Back in World War II, after we did the landing in Normandy, which was a huge cost, as you know, right? We got stuck trying to really penetrate south because if you were to look at an aerial view of France, you'd see that all these hedgerows, everything's kind of organized into these hedgerows. And so when our tanks would go to take the land, they would kind of pop up going over the hedgerow. Do you understand? And so they'd show the underbelly of the tank, and the Germans knew this. They'd be right there. They'd take us out because that's the weakest part of a tank is right in the underbelly. And it really stalled us for like a month. And so good thing that we had people on the ground going, you know, we could solve this. We've got some pretty big engines in those tanks. Why don't we go back to the beach and get all the shards of the metal that were sitting on the beach and weld them to the front of the tank, and I bet you that we could just blow right through those hedgerows. And it's exactly what ended up happening. Curtis Cullen was a guy who came up with the idea, and aren't we glad he did, because who knows how many lives would have been lost in us figuring out another way, okay, until you could get that dealt with. But it was because leadership was listening to any idea that would come through. And they said, try it, tested it, it worked. Boom, he ordered scores and scores of these things. The tank's retrofitted right now. It looks kind of like a Rhino. You see, it's hard to see in this picture. These are the shards of metal coming right out the front of the tank. But that's what they created, the Rhino tanks. It's because we were listening to the ideas of everybody in the organization. This is the kind of thing we would encourage you to do in your organization as well. Doesn't matter how big they are on your org chart, how high up they go. Listen to everybody. You never know where the big idea is going to come from.